And welcome to Wednesday night. What's going on? Welcome to Open Studio. I'm Steve Leahy. I can't talk, but welcome and thanks for being here. All right, we're gonna keep going. The little cheese wedge building here. Hold on, is this focused? I don't know. The little cheese wedge building right here. We're gonna go with the bigger building right above it. And I'm gonna keep knocking the camera with my head just because I can. How is everyone doing on this fine Wednesday evening? Hopefully you're doing well. This is another open studio that I did not think I'd be able to get in, which is pretty exciting because I hate missing, and then when I don't miss, it's even better. So I'm very happy about that. After this one, I should be caught back up. Things have been really crazy, and I haven't really been able to kind of keep the schedule going the way I'd like to, which means getting some of these done beforehand. But that's going to change. I'm finally lightening up a little bit, so it's good. All right, what we're going to do is that really big building right above the cheese building. We're going to do that next. So what I think I will do is I will cut that out and paint it in. It's a little bit lighter gray than what we have here, that guy. So I think I'm going to cut out the whole thing. Actually, I'm going to cut out the whole thing and whatever this building is next to it. The roof of whatever this is. I do have the palette cam on. So you can see the palette is an absolute disaster area. I have already ordered the replacement parchment for the wet palette as well as a new foam pad, but I'm waiting for it to come in. And I ordered mine from Germany, right from the company. So it doesn't, I mean, they say it takes about 10 days, which is good. But you know, I dropped the ball. I should have had that ordered a while ago when I was down to like the last few pieces of parchment. But I thought I had more in there, and I went to go grab a new one, and I was down to only one, so that was my fault. But you know, I'll get there. All right. So I did have a great soapbox request or comment or suggestion, and I wanted to get into that. And the question was, do I ever lose like the drive on a painting, like the interest on a painting? And that is an excellent question. And the answer is yes, especially with a painting like this. Not necessarily the drive, but you guys have been with me now for a bunch of episodes, and you can see how kind of monotonous this can be. So for me, it's nice to be able to just kind of, the way I get around that is to always keep a bunch of things going at the same time. So there'll be another painting or several paintings that are going. So if I do kind of get burnt out on this or something like this, that I can just move on, and work on another painting for a little while. And that's a really good thing. It just kind of breaks things up. It keeps things interesting. There is no other way to say it other than, these paintings, like the Tokyo painting, it's a tractor pull. There's a lot to it. It's like anything that's just like really monotonous. Not really monotonous, but over and over again. Because with this, I mean, there are some interesting things that go on in each little section, but it's the same kind of thing. And in order to stay engaged in that, the best way to do that is to swap out. So one of the reasons why I love, doing landscapes and then doing like technology like cars or motorcycles or planes is because it does give me a break from, one different thing or one thing that I'm doing over and over again. I don't think I could ever be the artist that only paints one subject matter. That's perfectly cool, and in fact it may be a detriment to my career that I do bounce around. When you think of certain artists, you generally think of that one thing that they do, and I shouldn't have done that. Should have cut out less of that. I should have cut out this part here. You know what I mean? So I'm fortunate in that I have something that I'm known for as far as, what I like to do a lot of, and that's these miniature paintings. So even though I'll paint, like a landscape or a car or a portrait, they'll generally be small. So that's the common thing for me. And that's good. That's good because it allows me to do different things and stay engaged and be excited about what I'm doing while still keeping the same thing. I'm not going from abstract to, like realistic watercolor to pencil drawings to, that kind of thing. When you bounce around like that as an artist, it becomes difficult for people to know what you're all about, what your drive is. So I'm fortunate that way that, I can kind of jump around in the topics and yet still keep the same idea going with the miniature stuff. So that's how I kind of break it up. Now, you guys who are just on Wednesday nights have just seen me working on this, but I'll work on this for a few hours and then I'll move on to all the other things that I'm doing, and that's kind of how it rolls. So, all right. So for this one, I've already got some white cut out, the roof pieces and the roof in this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically lighten this up just a little bit. It's pretty much gray anyway in the reference photo, but it's brighter. So this way I'll be able to kind of block it in and also change its value at the same time. Yeah, so I love that question. That was really good. I try not to do too many things at the same time or have too many paintings going at the same time. However, there are a lot of, I do have a lot of unfinished pieces, and that used to bother me a lot until I did an interview with Dan Power, who's another great artist, and was doing a podcast for a little while interviewing artists, which is great. So we were talking about sketchbooks, do I ever use a sketchbook to kind of get my ideas down? And I've always been jealous of the artists that do use a sketchbook and have these, great, basically just kind of like roadmaps of their paintings to come. And I always love that. I'm not that kind of artist. And I was always envious of that. And then in talking to Dan, though, I realized something, that I have a lot of unfinished paintings. And what I realized was with him, talking to him, was that my sketchbook is my unfinished painting. So when I get an idea for a painting, I'll get all excited, get it set up, kind of get it started. And then sometimes it'll just kind of be pushed off to the side. It won't get too much work done on it. And that's my sketchbook. It's like, okay, I've got that marker, that place marker on that painting. So when I'm ready to come back to it, it's got something there. And that was a really neat revelation for me, because like I said, I was kind of like, why don't I sketch things out? Why don't I have that kind of plan, that sketchbook plan? But that's why. That's what I do. So so the other side of that, which feeds into what we were just talking about, I have plenty to do. Like if I ever get bored on one painting and I need a break from it, there are all these other paintings that I started and some are years old, and at first, like I said, I wasn't real proud of that. Like, how do you have a painting that's like 3 years old that you haven't finished? And that's why. All right, so this is straight up white. Can't really see it, but there it is, opaque white. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of lightly go over this whole thing. And I want to be careful not to get it to saturation. I don't want it white, but I want it to stand out against the background so that when I go to put all the other fun stuff in, it'll work. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on the roof. That's my saturation point. I think that's going to be good right there. And I also have a couple other things that I cut out while we were talking. So I'll just kind of hit those again. It looks like I've got them already, but can't hurt to hit them again. All right, we'll leave white in that brush because we may need it. Pull this off and see what we got. That's lovely. Why doesn't it feel... Is that right? All right, here's the thing. So I've got all these buildings, vertical, and then I don't know if you can see it because you guys are kind of at an angle, but these lines here that I just put in are not, they're not parallel to the edge of the panel, or perpendicular to the bottom of the panel, where all my other buildings are. And I don't know if that's correct or not correct, but I don't like it. So what we're going to do is we're going to straighten that out. So all I'm doing is using the knife to kind of just erase the top of this line to get back down to the primer to just kind of straighten that out. And this side clearly looks like it's not over far enough. It should be out to here maybe. So we're going to use paint to fix that. Oh, this poor wet palette. Oh, this poor wet palette. I've clearly run out of room. That's not good. But hopefully within a day or two I'll have the new, like I said, I ordered a new palette and a new foam pad. So I'm going to scrub the base of this out, the plastic part, get all the paint off it, you know, kind of push the big reset button on this, get it back to where it should be. I do have another foam pad, but I'm going to wait to replace that until I get the new parchment in as well. Because there's no use replacing the pad and, you know, well, I can't replace the pad and put the old parchment back in. It won't work. I'm missing my glove. Where's my glove at? Well, I'll take a chance, as Abba would say. Oh, boy. Sorry for anyone who now has Abba stuck in their head. So I'm just going to kind of throw in the edge of this building up here at the top to kind of straighten this out. Now, whether this is right or wrong, this is what I want to do. Meaning, like that building might be at a slight angle that maybe I just kind of overcompensated for there. But even if it is, I want that to read this building, the sides to be parallel with everything else in the painting. I don't want it to be kind of wonky, unless of course, you know, it's clearly angled, like if it was the Leaning Tower of Pisa or something. But Japan doesn't have one of those, so I'm going to make sure we're right. All right, that's good there. And yeah, this is going to be shaded. So this building, or this side of this building, is shaded. So I'm going to kind of remind myself of that now, or for later. What we're going to do that is I'm going to take some gray, some really light gray, and indicate where the edge of that building is going to be, this side. So that way I know when I go to put all the windows in, well, I'm going to put the windows in a minute, but still, if say I was taking a break or going to do another building or something, by doing this, I like set a marker so that I don't assume the side of this building is over here and then, you know, screw it up, because that's just something that, you know, just could happen. It's very possible. All right. These windows are goofy. So how are we putting these windows in? They are little square windows. I think we're going to do a combination of the two things, where we're going to draw the window line across, and then we'll break it up with the mullions between the spaces between the windows, and then we'll do a little bit of adjusting, because they're not completely rectangular. They're kind of neat. Okay. A painting like this, though, I would, like with you guys, it's great as far as being bored and, you know, getting whatever. I do, like I said, I'll film like 3 or 4 episodes at a time, which is about 2 hours worth of painting. And then I'll, you know, put it aside because I got to, you know, edit all the video and all that stuff. So I don't want to get too far ahead of the filming part. It gets confusing. But if I was working on this painting not as an open studio, I would spend like an 8-hour day working on it, you know. And then what I would do is, like, the next day I would work on something different. And that way I could cover a lot of ground on this without getting too burnt out. I think I mentioned it before. I've never done one of these paintings as a flat out commission for someone, meaning they're standing there waiting for it. So I've never had to like say, okay, I'm going to do this till it's done and I'm going to spend 8 hours a day every day working on it. So fortunately, I don't know what would happen in that instance. I would think that I would get kind of burnt out, but again, luckily I haven't had to deal with that. All right, the windows are basically parallel with the top of the cheese building, so we're going to run with that. Let me look at the copy here, because I'm looking at the reference photo, the one you guys are looking at, and so I want to keep the actual photocopy nearby so I get the scale of these windows right, because they're pretty small. And I don't want to just, you know, look at the reference photo and then make them bigger than they should be. So they are pretty tiny. And I think I'm going to still stick with that plan of cutting the back in. All right. I'm going to do some black. This is my new black. Is this my new black up here? This is my new black. I don't know. One of these is my new black. But both of these work. I think I put this one out yesterday. We're going to do the ruler trick for this so we get them straight. And I'm going to start with, yeah, there's one just along the top of the cheese building. So this will be nice. This will kind of set the stage for us here as far as how they go. So I do that line, and then I'll quickly take a glance at, they go right to the edge? No, almost. And I'll quickly take a glance at the reference photo to see how thick they are. And this needs to be a little bit thicker, so we'll do that. And again, this very first window sets this, or row of windows, sets the stage for everything else to come later. All the other windows that are above it. Once I get this one and it's correct, then I have a good idea of certainly where to, put them in, but also how thick they are. And that looks good. Yeah, that flared out a little bit on the left-hand side, but I think it's going to be okay. So I've got the bottom one down. I did the bottom one first because I had the top of the little cheese building to kind of gauge it by. Normally I would start at the top and move down, which is what I'm going to do here, but the way I'm going to get that done, oops, sorry, I'm going to knock the camera around, is I'm going to flip it upside down so that now the top is at the bottom. Let me find it here for you. There it is, right there. Okay. So now just angle it a little bit so it's easy to kind of get at. And now I'm going to be able to kind of do this from top down. Now the reason I do it top down is because it's much easier to see the line that I just put in. If I go bottom up, I'm covering the ones I just did, and that makes it difficult to see them, to line them up. Make sure you guys can see what's going on. Yeah. Okay. Window row number 2. What's going on here? Hold on. I hit Google Assistant on the pad without knowing what I was doing there. Sorry. Thank you, Google Assistant. So see what I mean? Like I can gauge this window, row of windows, right up against the other one. Ah, that's too thick. Damn it. Because I was talking. But anyway, I can gauge that window against the other one. All right, so before I go on, though, I have to wait for that to dry, and I have to fix that one because it's going to affect the next row of windows that I put in. So we'll hang out, we'll talk while that's drying because there's not much else I can do. What else? Yeah. So that's what the story about getting like not bored with the paintings, but not, well, actually, while I'm waiting, I can do the other details on that. But that's basically how I kind of combat that feeling of this is the same kind of thing over and over again. And you know what painting I actually felt a lot of that on, and it was also an open studio painting, but still, the Generations painting, the painting of the old motorcycle. Doing all that rust, it was basically just over and over again through all the pieces. And yes, it was important to do it the right way, but after a while, I was just like, I just kind of wanted it to end. Which is, it's the fight that we have with the paintings, that for me, like the doing things that other people may not want to do because it takes too much effort is what makes the paintings good. You know what I mean? It makes the paintings unique. Because what I've got in here is that really light gray, and that's what I'm going to use to fix this window. So I'm just going to kind of go back against this and just kind of clean it up now that it's dry. There you go. So again, the fact that I'm doing this kind of stuff, that I'm kind of doing stuff that other people might. The best compliment I can get is if someone says that I'm knocked in the head. You know what I mean? That I have something wrong with me. That's the best compliment. Because if I'm doing something that or the bulk of the people aren't going to do, then I'm doing the right thing for me. You know what I mean? Like I see something that I want to capture in a painting, and yes, there's a tractor pull to get to it, then I'm in. I'm fine. I'm fine with that. And it eliminates a lot of I don't want to say competition because art isn't really like that, but in a way it is like that. And that's what it does. By doing the things that other people don't want to do is how you really get the important things done. The big things done. You know what I mean? Not the run-of-the-mill things. All right, we are good. I think that's going to work. It's a little bit dark. Like I can still see it. You can see it too, but that'll be okay. Try not to try not to talk during that. Here we go. That's a little bit wonky, but that's okay. Oh, I had a feeling about that. There was a lot of paint in that brush. And the scary part, as I fix this one below it, the scary part about that is when you have a lot of paint in the brush, there is always that chance that the paint will just flow off the brush and make a mess. Always that chance. So I try to really work hard to palette the brush to a point where that can't happen. There's just enough paint in there to get the line in, but not a whole bunch. That's too thin. So that is good because that brush would have made a huge mess had I not caught that. Okay. I'm not overly worried about the ends yet. I'll show you what I do for that. So they're, obviously the windows are square at the end, but the brush puts it on in a very oval way because it's a round brush. But I'll clean that up in the end, so I'm not really worried about that. Yeah, excellent. Okay, good. And again, I could try to get two rows of windows done, but I would much rather, get one in, repalette the brush, know that the brush is okay, and then drop the line in. Like, see here, the paint was too thin. So I really only have to wrestle with this one bank of windows, and then I can straighten that out. Add a little bit more paint to it. This ruler trick is great. It acts like a mouse stick. It allows me to run the paintbrush along the edge of the ruler. However, if you try this, don't think of it like a pencil with a ruler. You're using it more as a guide. I can still tilt the paintbrush in and out to adjust that line if I'm not quite right. So I'm using it more as a steadying guide than an actual line, to make the line. It's difficult to see upside down. I think I have one more. Maybe I don't have one more window. Let me look at this. I'm going to flip this around because I want to make sure I get this right. All right, what's going on there? I do. I only have one more at the top. So I'm going to, which you can't see because I don't have it on the screen. There it is. Okay. Yeah, it's just one more line at the top. Yeah, these windows are too fat. Oh, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 10 floors on this building, and I've got 6. Now, here's the big question. Ugh, do I do the right thing and do them again? Or do I leave 4 floors missing? I can't leave it. If I had 8 floors and I was missing 2, I could leave that. But that's here. I'm gonna show you why. That's me not paying attention. All right, so there's the real building right there. See how close they are together and how tightly packed they are? And then when you look at mine, they're huge. They're huge. Now here's another reason why that's, if that was on like this little building right here, this little one to the side, and I had the wrong number of floors, you know, that's really small. I'm going to take you guys on a ride for a second, so hold on. Actually, I'm going to edit this little bit out so that you don't have to go on the ride, but hold on one second. All right. Poop. That bugs me because, again, after all that talking about making sure they're right, I should have caught that on the first set of windows. But it does happen. Okay. So here's how we're going to fix it. And so let's just use this as a good, you know, like what could go wrong, you know, if stuff goes wrong. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find that copy I just had. Hopefully I didn't lose it. No, where did it go? No. What'd I do with it? Really? What did I do with it? Well, that's strange. Oh, no, here it is. Yes? No? No. Okay, that's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's good. So what we're going to do is, first I'm going to take the curse off this, because I'm going to spray this again, this little building, to get the curse off it, but, I mean to cover it. But if I spray it, it's going to take a while for it to cover. So we're going to take the curse off those windows. So I'm going to grab a little bit of the white and the black again to get that gray. And I'm just going to repaint over these windows. No, I'm not trying to like totally cover them. Again, I'm just trying to like take the bulk of the black out, so that when I go to spray it, I don't have to like totally get saturation on this. That's too bad. But again, you know, this is a good chance to show you what happens when, you know, things go sideways and, you know, you have to fix them. With the paintbrush, I want to keep this really smooth. You know, I'd rather build it up in a few light layers, just like the airbrush, than to load this on there to try to cover it real quick. All right, so we're going to let that dry, because if not, I'll just keep moving it around. I wish I knew. I just had it. Like, that's weird that I had that copy and now I don't, but that's okay. What I'll do is I'll find that copy when I don't need it anymore. Well, I'm looking for the one I just cut out, but I put it aside somewhere and I don't know what to do with it. But oh wait, where's the cutting mat? There's the cutting mat. No, it's not with that either. Okay. Well, while you guys are watching that dry, I'm going to cut the front of this building out real quick again. I'm not going to do the roof this time because there was no problem with the roof. The roof's fine. It's really just the front that needs to be fixed up. All right. There we go. Yahoo. Here we go. All right. Yeah, I didn't do that on camera, but you saw me do it the first time in this episode, so there you go. All right, so I've got a lot of the black out now. We're good. So I'm going to line this up. Line the cheese building up, line the edges up. Put a good size magnet on this to hold it. And I have white in the brush from before, so this will work out well. I'm about to lose this cheap office chair that I have to paint on. It's groaning under the weight. All right, white. We're going to just go over this real lightly. Build it up slow. I don't have to make sure this is 100% covered because I'm going to put those nice black windows in anyway. But I want to get a bunch of it, you know, kind of covered so that they don't really show up like that. Perfect. What do we have time for? We don't. So what we're going to do is right now we're going to start those windows again, and then we'll finish them right on the next episode. I thought I'd have this building done. Poop. All right. Where's my... This time I'll use my little ruler so I can see a little bit better. Here we go. Back to the black. go. Same deal. So I've got the cheese building as the kind of guide, or now I can see them underneath now too. So we're going to just kind of go for it. So the first one I'm going to keep thinner now. Actually, I could have started at the top because I can see them now, but that'll work. Same deal. Flip this upside down now that I can see it. And I'm going to go, that's about half the thickness, which is good. Sure, in line with that one. Two. Three. I think I have these a little bit too thin, but that's okay because I can thicken them up a little bit. Yeah, that's much better. I can see them underneath. All right. Yeah, we're going to do one more and then we'll break for this episode. We'll pick it up right where we left off next week and we will finish these up. Yeah, that's much better. Good. All right, so there's 4 already. So yeah, so I'll have at least eight floors on this, which I'm good with. That one there is probably a little bit too thick, but I'll fix it. All right. Here's the whole thing so far, which doesn't show much because we've only added that one building. We had to fix that, but that's okay. So this is what it looks like right now. So don't forget to like and subscribe, even if you are liking it because I screwed up, and that's okay too. And don't forget to hit that bell icon too. You'll get notifications when new stuff pops on there. Also, if you want to support us here, that would be amazing. You can do it the free way with that like and subscribe, and you can also do it the more financial way, which is becoming a member here. You get a discount on my website all year long, and you also get early access to the Time-Lapse Tuesday video as well. So there we go. All right, so for Steve Leahy and Open Studio, I will catch you guys next week. Thanks a lot.